Mondion, Astral Oracles. I'm glad to be with you, good people of Earth. It's Libra season, and it's time to check in with the Arcturians. I'm doing so from Monopoly, southern Italy in Apulia. Over there's the Adriatic, and there's some olive trees and olive groves in this suburb where I'm sitting in a terrace. Up in the sky. The weather is nice. Italy is very nice. I've never been south of Rome, so it's a definite adventure that I'm looking forward to. Also looking into with the channeling and everything, and it's just very nice to be out and about in the Mediterranean. So much love wherever you find yourself. I also hope you find some twinkling stars smiling at you. Greetings, dear human beings. Greetings, dear inhabitants of Earth. Greetings, you dear bipedal individuals, groups, collectives, species, and even, let's call you, Star Command. We address you as now. That is, there is a new purpose that is being gleaned for you. This purpose, this configuration has to do with your ability to configure and program energy. We, the Arcturian Council from the ninth dimension, I Umblam, we greet you with sincere love. We greet you with our deepest unconditional love as we move into this shared space. A thing that is being noticed by this vessel, a thing that's being noticed by many of you, by so many of our friends who have been interacting and receiving these energies, bringing them forward. The so-called channelers is that these energies are becoming far more dense to them. They may seem almost soupy, as a type of mist that they are surrounded by, rather than a impulse, a frequency, a signal that they amplify themselves with their consciousness. Rather now it seems sometimes that they have to condense and compress this signal to even be able to put it into the frequencies that, well, are attainable, reachable, or understandable from the point where you receive these messages from. That is to say, of course, there are many things going on many levels, but, well, how do you care about things that go on the backside of the moon of Jupiter if that thing does not affect you and you cannot sense it? That is, if this is not within your experiential range, it doesn't make all that much of a difference. So can you begin to see how your experiential range has been clearly defined in these seasons, these frequency waves that have been moving through your planet? If we address this period of the past 10 years, we can say there has been a period of 10 years. There has been a period where you have grown into increased positivity, insight, and awareness through the confrontation with, let us also say, certain outward crises and certain inner despondencies. So this has been a type of clarifying period these 10 years. Then we can say there is a 7-year period moving from the year of 2015. Here you may sense that you have become more empowered. We are addressing you as a collective, and therefore try to take note of how this reflects in your personal life. That since 2015, you have become more empowered in your search. You have found that you have developed and grown certain tools. You may even find that there are certain skills that you could say you have attained, if not a level of mastery, then at least a level of teachability, your ability to relate this in helpful and skillful ways to other people. This has been something that you have cultivated within this 7-year frame. Then within this 4-year frame of 2018, or we could say 2018 to now, approximately these 4 equinoxes, you may sense that there has been a type of very intense solidification taking place, that, well, there was a type of, let's say, breakdown period in those preceding 3 years that brought you into a place where you have now solidified yourself in new ways within these 4 years. Then within these latter 3 years, we are speaking of possibly 2019 to 2022, you may sense that your frequencies have grown almost abhorrent to seen from the perspective of where you were coming from. That is, you are already far more of a light being than you would ever have imagined yourself becoming if you were alive, for instance, let's say in that decade called the 1980s, that was far denser in its outlook and its qualities than is the case right now. These are experiences you can reflect, that you can allow yourself to pick up on. You may then sense that, well, this accumulation has set you free into a personal configuration of your reality tunnel. You are becoming quantum in your manifestation skills. You are choosing timelines at a rapid pace. You are seeking more and more positive, more and more aligned and reordered outcomes. You are doing so individually. And this goes for those of you who have tuned into these positive frequencies, used these approximately 2 to 3 years now to tune into these positive frequencies that reside within you. Well, what you may have experienced, well, even in the case for many of you, is that it has been acute physical loss, many dear ones or people dropping off. It has been acute injury, physical challenges, acute physical symptoms that have weighed you down. It has been acute emotional crisis. It have maybe have even been material loss, worry, grief, and fear. All these things have been materializing within these energies, within this framework, in order for them to become, let's say, seen, understood as ingredients in the stew that you brew, in order to also nourish yourself for health. That is, understand, well, much as certain things, let's say green beans, for instance, are not good for your human constitution unless you prepare them slightly first, then there are also certain things that are actually good for you, certain negative things that are, if prepared, if seen in the right context, launch you into a more positive line of creation. And here we could say that you are moving from maintenance into metamorphosis. You are moving from maintaining yourself, from having to build and upkeep, having to keep up with these energies of this influx. You are moving into the more effortless way of the way. That is this flowing of the butterfly's wings with the ways of the wind, the flow of everything. You have different terms for this. You can call it life, you can call it the way, you can even call it the kingdom of heaven. We don't really mind what you called it, because it is rather a state of being. And you may notice this state of being rather as something peculiar at the moment that you seem to be dropping off from. That is, you notice it the most when you drop out of it, that you have actually been in states for extended periods of time where you have been flowing, where you have been absorbed, where you have feel connected to that deep process that moves through you as the intuitive river that, well, is a stream within you But that stream also adds to the huge river delta that is the collective flow of everything in this universe. So you are in accordance with that principle you call the Tao, and you may sense that this flow, it becomes less and less cumbersome, it becomes more enjoyable. So this is our encouragement to take heed, take notice, pay attention, be watchful, be mindful as you move into this October season, because this is indeed a season of clarity. This is indeed a season where the light moves in to those obstructed realms, where escapes are barred, where there seems to be no hope. That is on this St. Michael's Eve that we are communicating to you. Symbolically, you may sense that you are moving into transformation in the collective, that you are moving into a season where it is expected that the things that have been put into it will gestate, they will consolidate into a new type of world order, into new configurations. So your ability, or let's say your task here, is indeed to cultivate your ability to be flowing with what is, that is allowing it to pass through, to move it from one space to another. In this way, you see, instead of being in a world that is where you are almost set upon or encumbered by objects you are trying to juggle, tasks you are trying to complete, can you instead see these as energy impulses, things that flow through your life as a type of wind beneath your wings, carrying up that butterfly that has emerged through these past 10 years. This is the encouragement as you move into this 10th month that you call the 8th, this month of October of your year 2022. Here you will find yourself aligning with the flow that has been there all along. It was invisible to you because it was obstructed. It was held back for long, and therefore it became that pulse of life that went by without you necessarily noticing. Now you are merging into that pulse of life as a type of baptism in its truest, purest form. You are moving into the pure energetic flow of the all, and with this you realize that there is no difference between that river and the body that floats in it, nourished by its beautiful life-giving waters. Therefore, flow and rejoice and know that you are balancing out naturally in accord with everything, as things naturally have to, as you have to, as a natural thing, a being of nature. Therefore, from the Arcturian Council, residing in the ninth dimension, from I, Umblam, representing this council to you, and from all your galactic brethren, we bring you unconditional love, blessings, our deepest gratitude for you awakening to your inner selves, peace. I personally felt their energy slightly different, strongly, very almost overwhelming this day, and I had the idea, I can tell just looking at the clock, that far longer time had passed than it actually than actually had. So I'm just noticing that, and I don't know whether or not it's the different energies that I'm surrounded by here, or it's also just simply the changes they commented on. Regardless, I hope the message served you, and I wish you a very happy month of October out there. Much love.